How's it guys, welcome back to another episode of Bassing with Sasha. In today's episode I actually go over my top 5 baits that I would use in overcast, rainy and windy conditions. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. Okay, so the reason why I'm actually making this video is because we've had a couple of crazy weeks here in South Africa, in Joburg. It has been raining for the last, I think, 3 weeks now, you know, consistently raining, windy, overcast, you know, and I thought it was just appropriate to actually bring out a video because you guys still want to go fishing in these type of conditions in the rain and you guys still want to catch those fish. So let's dive into my top 5 baits. So first bait that I would actually throw, this is a black chatterbait. This is the Picasso shock blades. As you guys can see, it is black. The reason why I'm picking a black chatterbait is because low light condition. It means that the fish won't be able to see a lighter presentation. It's kind of like a silhouette. The reason why I'm also taking a chatterbait is because it's got that big thumping in the front, and this will create a lot of vibration in the water which draws those fish to the actual bait. Okay, trailers that I would put on a chatterbait would just be a normal boot tail swim bait. This is actually the 6th Sense Divine swim bait. This is in the Bluegrass Magic, but I know this isn't the exact color, but this you can see is quite dark. It's got a green pumpkin top and a little bit of a blue belly. This is also a really good dark weather, dark water swim bait, and you can see it's in a smaller presentation. As you guys can see, it's a little bit smaller, and this would actually pair up really well with the shock blades. So this is my number 1 choice of trailer for a chatterbait. I feel most comfortable with this, but there's other options, like you can throw a craw style bait, which gives a lot of action. This is actually the stroker craw in a Nirvana color. As you guys can see, it's got a green pumpkin bottom, black and blue or black top with some blue glitter in it. This is the 6th Sense stroker craw, also available at Tackle Cabin. Then another bait that I would put on the back of a chatterbait is just a beaver style bait. This is actually the Bandito bug. This is in a Bama bug. So you see it's actually a really dark color. It's got a little bit of green pumpkin belly, but it's mainly a June bug color. This is also a really good jig, a really good chatterbait trailer, and this will work magic in the darker weather. Okay, rod and reel setup that I would actually use for a chatterbait. I personally would use a medium heavy rod with 12-pound fluorocarbon line, and I use a 7:2 gear ratio reel. Okay, my second bait would be a spinnerbait. Reason why I would throw a spinnerbait, this is actually a white spinnerbait, really good for low light conditions. It's easily visible for the fish to see it. Yeah, this is really good because of the windy conditions. Other color that I would use is obviously a black spinnerbait. This is actually a black and blue spinnerbait, but this actually has one Colorado blade on it. So trailers that I would be using for a spinnerbait, I would use a straight boot tail swim bait. This is another Divine swim bait. This is actually in the Clearwater Rose. So this is actually the perfect imitation for this specific spinnerbait because it's white. It actually matches the hatch and it is a very natural presentation. With that black and blue, I would most probably throw a darker swim bait. This is also the Divine swim bait. This is that Bluegrass Magic. Put it on the back. This will catch fish. Okay, the setup that I would actually be using on these spinnerbaits would be a medium heavy rod, 12-pound fluorocarbon line, and a 7:2 gear ratio reel. So exactly the same as a chatterbait. Bait number 3, Fluke style bait. This is actually a soft jerk bait. The reason why I would be throwing a soft jerk bait is because it's super versatile. So I would be throwing it either in a really dark color like this, or I'd be throwing it in a very light color. So this is obviously the pearl color. So these are the 6th Sense flashes, also available at Tackle Cabin. Go check them out. I've actually caught fish on this, and it is a really good imitation for a bass, bait fish, or a dying bait. bait fish. So how I would actually throw this is I would actually rig it as a mojo with quite a small little weight so that I can shift it up to fish as a mojo, or even shift it right to the front and fish it like a Texas rig. I will cast it out there and I will either rip it back like a jerkbait or let it sink and work it on the bottom. Okay, setup that I will use for this is I will be using a medium heavy rod with a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader, and I'll actually use a very high gear ratio, so an extra gear ratio, which is an A2 gear ratio. Bait number 4, this is actually a very versatile bait and it's by far my most favorite lure out there. It is, like I say, the most versatile, and you can fish it in so many different ways. This is a Senko style bait. This is actually the 6 cent clout in the cosmic black. The way I would personally throw this, and it's been my most successful way of catching bass on a Senko style bait, that is on the wacky rig. As you guys have seen, it's caught me most of my fish and also some of my bigger fish in my fishing career. So this is a black style bait. It's got a little bit of red, it's got a little bit of purple and some silver glitter in it. Because it's so finessey, the fish might be in a lethargic mood, they might not be in the mood to bite. So how I would throw this is wacky rig first, no weighted hook. If they're not really in that mood, I would actually throw it with a weighted hook, get it down there a lot quicker. If they're still not biting, then I would actually throw this exactly the same way as I would throw a soft jerkbait, mojo style, with a really light weight. Push it up to the front, cast it out there, let it sit, work it back slowly, or you can even put it right to the front and you can jerk it back just like a jerkbait. So setups that I would use for this is obviously for the wacky style I would be using just a normal spinning setup, 15-pound braid on it with a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader and just a small little wacky hook. And if I'm fishing this in a mojo or in a Texas style, I'll be using a medium heavy rod with 12-pound fluorocarbon leader and my 8-2 gear ratio reel. Bait number 5, this is actually the Guggen Baits Drag and Drop. This is in a natural color. As you guys can see, it's quite dark on the top and it's got a little bit of a pearl belly. I will actually be throwing this as a drop shot. The reason why I throw it in a drop shot style is because if the bass are finicky, you know, the weather can be quite weird, you know, it's hot from 1 minute and then it's cold, so the bass kind of pull off the bite. So a drop shot works really well. This is also my last resort. I'll throw all the other baits before I even throw this drop shot. Fishing setup, my actual rod, reel and line setup for a drop shot is exactly the same as how I would fish a wacky rig. It would be on 15-pound braid with a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader, just a spinning reel. I think my spinning reel is a 5-7 gear ratio, so a really low gear ratio, and it's perfect for finesse fishing. Okay, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial on my 5 overcast and rainy and windy weather baits. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Leave comments down below. Let me know what you guys throw in these type of conditions, and like always, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't, and I'll check you guys on another episode of Bassing with Sasha.